Jammu and Kashmir is a Himalayan region covering 86,000 square miles of beautiful lakes, lush meadows, and snow-capped mountains. It's also the site of one of the oldest and deadliest UN-recognized territorial disputes in the world between two nuclear power states, Pakistan and India. Since 1947, it kept the whole region volatile for the last 7 decades. So, what is it about this tiny piece of land that's caused a vicious conflict between two military heavyweights? And how did this all start?
Continuing thus increased the threat to world peace and brought the dispute to the attention of the United Nations.
In 1947, under the partition plan, the Kashmiri people were free to join either India or Pakistan. Kashmir's Hindu ruler, Maharaja Hari Singh, wanted to have an independent Kashmiri state, but signed a standstill agreement with Pakistan. India, however, wanted Kashmir to accede to the dominion of India, and as the pressure from India mounted, the Maharaja agreed to join the Indian state against the wishes of the people of Kashmir, the majority of whom were Muslim. As the Maharaja agreed to join India, the decision aggravated the internal revolt which was started back in the 1930s in Poonch. On the 27th of October 1947, Indian forces landed in Srinagar to suppress the rebellion. Right after the arrival of Indian forces, Maharaja signed the Instrument of Accession with India. Tribesmen from Waziristan started to join the Kashmiri people against the occupation, which appeared to be succeeding as they approached Baramulla. In 1948, the Pakistan National Guard also deployed along the border areas of the valley. On India's request, the UN intervened and a formal ceasefire was declared, effective on the 1st of January 1949. It established a ceasefire line, now known as the Line of Control after the Shimla Agreement in 1971. As a result, 2/3 of the state went under Indian control, including the Kashmir Valley, Jammu, and Ladakh. The Kashmir issue remained a major source of conflict between Pakistan and India in the 1965 and 1971 wars, both militarily and at the diplomatic level. In the late 1970s, India started taking an interest in Siachen, sending military mountaineering expeditions to the area. Pakistan received this information from civilians of the area and the International Alpine magazine in 1983. The Karakoram Highway was inaugurated in 1979. To disrupt this land link between Pakistan and China, the Indian Army illegally occupied parts of Siachen in 1984. Indian intrusions were confirmed by aerial reconnaissance and foot patrols by the Pakistani Army. India occupied Siala and Bilafondla in April 1984 in contravention of Shimla Agreement. When Pakistani special forces were deployed in these areas, they found that the Indians were already entrenched there. This operation by the Pakistan Army led to the first armed clash for the glacier on the 25th of April 1984. In protest of sham Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir elections in 1987 to bring pro-India legislators in power, a popular resistance movement started in 1989, and Indian atrocities caused incidents like the Hazratbal massacre against this movement. Kargil was part of the valley which had been liberated by local and tribal fighters during the Kashmir War from 1947 to 1949. However, it was later illegally recaptured by the Indian Army in 1971. Kashmiris and Gilgit-Baltistan scouts continued to fight to liberate their lost territory. In early 1999, local Kashmiri fighters and GB scouts, with the help of the Pakistan Army, snuck across the infamous line of control and occupied the vacant mountains dominating the Kargil, Dras, and Batalik areas. In April 1999, the Indian military responded with full force. This led to the Pakistan Army's regular troops coming to the rescue of the GB scouts. The short war that followed ended in mid-July, and both armies reverted back to their pre-war positions. A decade and a half later, on the 8th of July 2016, Indian forces killed a young commander of Hizbul Mujahideen Burhan Wani in Kokernag. The killing of Wani rekindled the movement against Indian occupation in the valley. Following the killing of Burhan Wani, on the 18th of September 2016, an army base in Uri was attacked, leaving 18 Indian soldiers dead. India blamed Pakistan for backing the militants for this attack. However, these accusations were unsubstantiated. On the 29th of September 2016, India claimed that it conducted surgical strikes against militant launch pads across the line of control in Pakistani-administered Kashmir. The Indian media reported that significant casualties had been inflicted, with figures ranging from 35 to 70 militants. The Pakistani leadership and international community slammed the Indians' claims due to the lack of any evidence. On the 14th of February 2019, another attack, this time on an Indian paramilitary convoy, killed 44 Indian soldiers in Pulwama. Soon after, India again accused Pakistan for being responsible for the attack. In retaliation, on the 26th of February 2019, India claimed that Indian Air Force jets crossed the line of control and bombed a terrorist camp in Balakot. Despite the Indian media peddling constant disinformation and propaganda regarding the existence of a terror camp, they failed to provide substantive evidence to back these claims. Pakistan instead claimed that due to the Pakistani Air Force jets scrambling against Indian jets, one of the Indian jets accidentally dropped a payload in the middle of a jungle in Balakot. On the 27th of February 2019, Pakistani Air Force jets crossed the line of control under Operation Swift Retort to reaffirm its right to self-defense against India. Meanwhile, in a tense dogfight, Pakistani jets shot down 2 Indian aircrafts and captured 1 Indian pilot, Wing Commander Abhinandan. Later, on the 5th of August 2019, the Indian government revoked Articles 370 and 35A of the Constitution with a presidential order and stripped Kashmir of its special status. With this, Indian troops enforced indefinite security lockdowns in the valley and placed elected representatives under house arrest. With Pakistan's efforts, on the 16th of August 2019, the UN Security Council called upon a meeting to discuss Kashmir's volatile situation for the first time since 1965. Apart from these major events, continuous ceasefire violations happened along the line of control since 1949 till today, despite attempts to maintain it. With the abrogation of Kashmir's special status, Indian forces have turned the whole valley into the world's largest open prison. India has continued to commit human rights violations against Kashmiris, ranging from mass killings and genocides, enforced disappearances, torture, rape and sexual abuse, to political repression and the suppression of freedom of speech, often cutting off internet and mobile signals for months. Because it's important to remember that this isn't just about a territorial conflict between 2 hostile nations. It's about helping the people of Kashmir, whose freedom has been stripped from them for generations, to finally have their voices heard.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what other topics we should cover on the upcoming episodes of Meridian.